Well, with New Year's Eve right around the corner, many people are thinking about New Year's resolutions. Is making a resolution good for your mental health? Here to talk about setting healthy goals for yourself is Dr. Rich Hall from PsychWorks LLC. Good morning, Dr. Hall. Thanks for chatting with us
Good
this
morning.
week.
Thanks for having me on.
So let's just get right into it. Are New Year's resolutions a good idea? I've heard yes, I've heard no, I've heard in between.
I tend to think of them as a good idea. I think as humans, we like having goals and we like meeting goals. There's a certain sort of, it's like when you strike something off your to-do list, you get a certain internal sense of pride. And so having a measurable goal that when you hit it, you can say to yourself, oh, I did a thing. And we often need to be able to reflect back on what have we done that makes us feel satisfied, purposeful. And for the most part, I think that's just good for society. So the fact that we have this built-in set goals day, which is New Year's Day, is good for us culturally.
Looking forward and that type of thing. Well, how should we approach making goals? Are there any tips that you can give us that maybe are healthier ways? Because some, people go all in and they have too many goals or not enough. What do you say?
Yeah. So there are what are called SMART goals, and those are goals that are measurable. You want to make sure that you have a timetable that on how you want to reach those goals, and making sure that when you set goals, you're thoughtful about what is the change that is required, right? So be reflective, do your research, and make sure that you're sort of keeping in mind your own patterns around change. And when are you more likely to be successful? When are you less likely to be successful? Like if you're not a morning person and saying, I'm gonna wake up every morning and exercise, that might be hard for you. Or recognizing if it's hard in the beginning, it might get easier with time if you stick with it. And so a lot of it is not letting yourself feel down when you let yourself down, right? When you don't quite reach the goal in the way you had thought you would. A lot of times you want to try to build momentum, right? Try small changes, small incremental changes. A good one is dieting. Everybody wants to change their diet completely, but what you really should be focused on is good health. So how can I make small, healthier choices that help me build the momentum to get into a healthier lifestyle, not just change my whole diet hoping that that'll stick. We all know it almost never does.
Know thyself, like you say. So if you're not a morning person, don't maybe
set
that's not the goal.
super huge morning goals at first, right? Maybe a small morning goal here and there. Build something in to the point where, okay, I start to feel comfortable doing this. Like I started walking in the mornings, mostly because I had to walk my kids to school. That's what helped me get started on that goal. And then eventually, because I got used to waking up earlier for that purpose, then I could get myself into walking every morning for an hour.
And I've heard building on other things that you're already doing. Like you said, you're already walking your kids to school, so maybe you could add some extra time to that. So building on something you're already doing.
Building stuff you're already doing.
Gotcha. Okay, those are all great tips, but I did want to ask, we hear about seasonal depression a lot in this time of the year. It's gloomy, it's gray. Do you have any advice for people who might deal with seasonal depression, ways to kind of help with that?
Yeah. A lot of it is, connecting with people. A lot of times people feel more disconnected. It's weird because it's the holidays, so we all assume people get more connected. But in reality, they can feel less connected because they might not have necessarily forged the connections throughout the year that they would need to connect with. A lot of times it's, what can you do to take care of yourself if you know going into the season? Once again, self-reflection is important when you're managing something like your own mental health, because if you know around December you start to get sad, seasonal affective disorder, right? Then making sure that you're making choices to take care of yourself going into it, thinking about it in November, thinking about some patterns and routines you can have around healthy eating, exercise, what are the things that help you feel better? And trying those things, even if you're not 100% into them, even if you might not have all the energy you would need to do them with vigor, it's still good to sort of have the healthy habits that we know help us to feel better. And then making sure that you're connecting with your practitioners, be it your doctor, if your meds are working or not, making sure you're connecting with a psychologist or a therapist, case manager, whatever you have that is a resource for you, try and connect with those. And maybe stepping out and doing some new things. I know last time we were here, we talked about like volunteering. A lot of times helping other people can help you feel like you, once again, have a sense of purpose and connection that can help you kind of get through the times where you might not have it for you, but you're often able to give it to other people.
Okay, well, those are great tips. Thank you. If people want to find you quickly,
yes, psychworksllc.com. PSYCHWORKS. LLC.com is my website. I'm also on Psychology Today and other websites like that where you can find a therapist.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hall, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you. Time now, it's 9:44. What are you doing New Year's Eve? If you don't have any plans, no problem. Just ahead, our friend Abby Cummins from Everything Cincy has ways to ring in the new year without spending a fortune.